The national anthem will now be played.
The Honourable Jeff Kennett, Premier of Victoria, the Honourable Phil Goode, Minister for Education, Consuls General, distinguished guests, students from all parts of Victoria. My wife and I welcome you all to Government House for this special celebration, and I extend a particular welcome to you, Mr Premier, and to you, Minister, because this day is of special importance, marking as it does great achievement in education in this state. I also welcome the students who are receiving awards and all those who have participated, and of course their parents and all those teachers and those involved in the education system who have assisted them in this great achievement. I congratulate all on what is a marvellous stage, and I wish you all well, and I now call upon the Premier to address you. Thank you.
Sir James, Lady Gobbo, my ministerial colleague Phil Goode, Mr Spring, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, Sir James, Lady Gobbo, can I thank you very much indeed for allowing us to use your private home for this function today. It is a wonderful use of a magnificent building that we can come together on this occasion when obviously we are saluting excellence. This event has been held each year since 1994, and it does mark the culmination of each student's hard work in achieving what can only be described as outstanding results for the VCE in 1997. It signifies the end of your time at school and the beginning of your transition to university or the workplace, with many of you, of course, now having already started your university year. It is also, I think, a time of, and should be a time, of great excitement and great opportunity, and I am sure you bring to it both the vigour and the enthusiasm and the necessary confidence that you have had at school, to your own personal life, and now at university, at work, or at any other place of learning. It is without a doubt that because of your efforts and your dedication that you were recognised and honoured through the VCE Awards, and today the government and the community share your achievement with you, and in doing so reaffirm our commitment to continue to provide quality education here in Victoria. Obviously, as His Excellency said, one of the real values of a day like this is to be able to see in one place the diversity represented. Students from government and non-government schools, from metropolitan, regional, country Victoria, all contributing to enhance Victoria's social and economic well-being. This year, for the first time, we are also recognising the achievements of 3 international students who have achieved the highest levels in VCE here in this state. The contribution of international students to our schools is an important one, and it promotes mutual respect and understanding, as well as allowing bonds of friendship to develop, which I hope will last for a lifetime, not only in terms of their social importance, but what value we may get from commerce or research as young people maintain links with people right around the globe. The quality of our schools, tertiary and training institutions, is of course of vital importance. They will determine our ability to compete in an ever-changing and challenging world, and as we finish this century and this millennium, change is a very important aspect of our lives. In many areas of education today, we are world leaders. This is most obvious in our commitment to new technology. Our position in relation to satellite and internet links to our schools ensures that Victorian youth will have a head start in beginning their careers and meeting the challenges of the future. Our success in the use of technology has been recognised by Bill Gates, who acknowledged on a tour of Australia only a few weeks ago that Victoria is among a small number of places around the world which are leading in the application of 21st century communications technology and, in particular, the internet. But we're also continuing to try and lift our own goals. We're focusing on improving literacy and numeracy and increasing interest in mathematics and science, and in both these areas we've set specific targets to be met. Firstly, 100% proficiency in literacy among Victorian students by the year 2005, and secondly, for our students to be among the top 5 countries in the world in mathematics and science by the year 2010. In setting these standards and targets, the government is committed to raising standards across the board and providing broader opportunities for all Victorian students. As part of this commitment, the government instituted a review of the VCE during 1997. It was conducted under the auspices of the Board of Studies. The review handed down its report in December 1997, and that the review found that the VCE is well regarded interstate and internationally and has served Victorian students well now for nearly a decade. A number of recommendations arising from the review will be adopted to reinforce the VCE's status as a quality education certificate. It will cater more fully for all students, including those who don't wish to pursue an academic career, and we believe that is very important to recognise the diversity of creativity among students and people and different interests. Some of these changes will have an effect on student workloads, which will be restructured to address concern about stress for students without diminishing the challenge of the VCE. And I'm sure that many of you who have experienced the VCE will probably appreciate these small but significant changes. All of you who are here today have certainly realised your potential at school. Your academic, technical and creative achievements are clearly quite outstanding. However, you should never forget that the personal qualities of an individual's life, such as integrity, moral strength, respect for others, are equally important. These are qualities that will help create your character, mould your future lives, and ultimately secure your success. Today, shortly after this opening ceremony, you will have the opportunity of meeting a number of presenters who are with us today, and I thank them for giving up of their time. All of these guests, drawn from many different occupations in life, are an inspiration to all of you as they are to us. They are leaders in their fields, and their record of outstanding achievement and their presence here today duly honours your achievement as leading VCE students and your potential as leaders of the future. Quite clearly, the years ahead will bring new challenges to all of us, but particularly for you who will start your lives on the brink of the new millennium. You face the prospect of a rewarding and fascinating time ahead. You will be subjected to a great deal of change, perhaps at a faster rate than anything your parents and their generation have experienced. But can I leave you with one message, please? Each and every one of you have benefited substantially from the contribution of your family environment and the contribution of your education. As you progress through life, given the special talents that you have, while pursuing your own endeavours and your own outcomes, I trust that you will find some time in every year and every part of your life to accept responsibility for those who are not as creative and not as well off. And we look all the time to every citizen to accept responsibility for growing the strength and the well-being of the community. But for those with special talents, I think the opportunity to contribute is even greater. As you pursue your tertiary studies, your life out in the business world, with your schooling now behind you, and with the recognition that we assign to you today, I trust that each and every one of you will understand that the environment in which you live here in Victoria and in Australia cannot be equalled anywhere else in the world. It is a unique place in which to live and to secure your own outcomes through the efforts that you individually contribute. But we should never forget that if the society is going to grow into the 21st century, we've got to grow ourselves, but we've got to contribute to grow the community as a whole. You are there all quite clearly leaders. You not only deserve to be congratulated, as we do today congratulate you all, but we also transfer to you already at this early stage of your life part of that mantle of responsibility, which will increasingly grow with you as you pursue your own careers, and as you, I hope, will then turn to ensuring that in your life there is a mix between the personal pursuit of goals and success and happiness, and at the same time direct a lot of your talents to growing the state and the community of which we're part. I do congratulate all the award winners on behalf of myself and my colleague Mr Good. We wish you every success and every fulfilment in the future, and now it is my great honour to make the presentations to the top 10 students, and I'll call on my head of the Department of Education, Mr Spring, to assist me in that endeavour. Thank you.
I will now ask the awardees to come forward as I read out their names. Ms Farnaz Sabay, 10th student in the state, Beacon Hills Christian College. Her brother Bayan is accepting the award on behalf of Farnaz. Mr Benjamin Toner, 9th student in the state, Melbourne Grammar School. Mr Samuel Roberts, 8th student in the state, Melbourne High School. Mr J Darville, 7th student in the state, Scotch College. Mr Alexander Inkani, 6 students in the state, Melbourne Grammar School. Ms Carr Earl Tan, 5th student in the state, East Doncaster Secondary College. Mr Mayor Krishnaswamy, 4th student in the state, Scotch College. Ms Jessica Fritzer, 3rd student in the state, Methodist Ladies College. Mr Alexander Cottle, second student in the state, Penley and Essendon Grammar School. And now for the first student in the state and the gold medal student, Mr Daniel Matthews, Scotch College. I now invite Daniel to address us on behalf of the students.
Your Excellency and Lady Gobbo, the Honourable Jeff Kennett, Premier Victoria, the Honourable Phil Goode, Minister for Education, special guests, ladies and gentlemen, fellow students. It was not long ago that the fearful spectre of Year 12 VCE rose ominously before us in its awesome, incomprehensible and monolithic proportions, bearing down upon its thousands of impending victims with grim resolve and promising inevitably to descend and impose upon our innocent shoulders a back-breaking burden, a year-long trial of hard labour, torturous sleep deprivation, deadlines, work requirements, caffeine addictions, and hellish cats. It's only been in the last few weeks that I can say that word without breaking out in a nervous sweat. Numerous horror stories preceded us. Its difficulty, arduousness, and incessant demands were the subject of many dark forebodings. And all this compounded the anxiety of the knowledge that the verdict would irrevocably affect our futures. But now, it's all over, and I don't particularly want to dwell on the depths of our misery. I would, however, like to share with you a few thoughts from my own experiences in this time. I know many people who, transfixed in the overbearing shadow of this VCE spectre, chose to focus entirely on work and not to be distracted by other, supposedly frivolous pursuits. Although this comment has no doubt already been espoused innumerable times in advice to students, I firmly believe that school studies should not become all-consuming. While it is true that any extra time spent at a desk is certainly not going to decrease your marks, schoolwork most definitely isn't everything. And a variety of pursuits can help to take your mind off such matters, gain a better perspective outside the often narrow outlook offered by VCE, and ultimately offer a greater enjoyment of life. By way of example, simply to show that the VCE need not exercise a tyrannical control over one's life, last year at Scotch College, outside the classroom, I took lessons in both the piano and French horn, completing my A-Mazet, or Associate Diploma of Music on the piano, and performing in the school symphony orchestra, symphonic wind band, social service jazz band, and Latin American band. I also competed in school football and cricket teams, which displaced my much-needed Saturday morning sleep-in, but nevertheless offered great enjoyment. On a more intellectual front, I competed in several mathematics competitions throughout the year, which involved a large amount of preparatory work. Attending a 10-day residential school in Sydney run by the Australian Mathematical Olympiad Committee during first term in April, and subsequently in July travelling to Argentina for 3 weeks to represent Australia at the annual International Mathematical Olympiad. This, of course, is not to mention purely social activities. I believe that all Scotch collegians must thank the school and its staff for making it possible for students to enjoy an immensely diverse range of activities. This and its pursuit of excellence are, in my opinion, what makes the school great. I know that my schoolmates here today can also testify to their extensive involvement in activities outside the normal academic spectrum. Organisation and balancing these competing priorities was obviously paramount, and often rather like juggling 7 bowling balls. The phrase glutton for punishment was not a rare thought throughout the year. At the very least, I was never bored. Balance has never really been my strong point. It was more of a matter of deciding at any given point what most direly required attention and how my time could be used most efficiently. Sport and music were always helpful in working off frustrations when the computer crashed, when inspiration remained stubbornly unforthcoming, or when any of a myriad unfortunate vicissitudes transpired. Through the course of the year, several strings were broken on my piano, and many times my computer came within an inch of a sledgehammer. My point with all this is that a broad education is far more rewarding than a completely academic one. And with the occasional detachment from studies, one can stand back and put things in perspective. Although the VCE and its measure of success, the TER, may be of great consequence to many of us in terms of our future education and career prospects, in the end, all we get is a number, and life is more than a number. I would like to thank the organisers of the Australian Maths Olympiad, with whom I've been involved for several years now, and indeed all the Australian Science Olympiads, for constantly challenging and expanding the horizons of all students who enter their programs. Although it is obvious that school curriculum must be accessible to all, it is nonetheless true that a significant number of students do find it unrewarding, tedious and stagnant. And the Olympiads provide them with an opportunity to extend themselves and to spark enthusiasm in these worthy pursuits. All the things I've learned in mathematics stopped having direct application to the real world about 5 years ago. But the logical processes, the abstract concepts and the academic rigour I've learned have had as much application in mathematical problem solving as in essay writing as in everyday life. Many times have I been asked, how's that going to get you a job? Or what's that got to do with real life? And many times have I been annoyed by this pragmatic viewpoint that education is solely for the purpose of gaining a career. While of course practical application of knowledge is important, I believe that far greater things, both for ourselves and for others, can come from the understanding of concepts in the abstract than by confining ourselves to that which is necessary to obtain a job, or more specifically, monetary gain. Last year, I set myself a challenge, simply to see how well I could do if I put my mind to it. A pretty academic approach, and very easy to say in retrospect. Not much practical significance to it, but I'm used to that. Why does the mountain climber scale Mount Everest? Because it's there, and because it's a worthy and noble challenge. Consequently, I became an excruciatingly pedantic perfectionist with cats, and the spreading of assessment across the year became a multiplication of workload rather than a division. Nevertheless, over half the cats I attempted were under examination conditions, and here my theory was to balance internal angst with mental relaxation, so as to be sufficiently alert, energetic and fired up to maintain momentum throughout the gruelling cat, while keeping thought processes clear and unclouded by pressing time limitations. The consumption of grotesque and inordinate amounts of coffee and coke, if only for the psychological edge of the belief you have the secret elixirs, combined with a bit of exercise to get the adrenaline running, proved useful techniques to gain the appropriate angst level. I most categorically do not recommend this method to others. Unless, of course, they can hold their coke through the 3-hour English exam. Some study and knowledge of the subject matter came in handy as well. But in the end, I believe success and enjoyment are intimately related. In general, you enjoy the things you're good at, and you are good at the things you enjoy. Though many would be loath to say it before an audience of their peers, and although such an attitude is met by far too many with an ignorant and immature disdain, it is a simple, true and genuine fact that I enjoy learning. And the greater the number of people who share that sentiment, the better, for the true value of knowledge and of education can never be underestimated. Finally, I'm sure all VCE graduates would like to thank their family, teachers, principals and friends for offering support throughout these difficult years. And indeed, I would like to especially thank my family for putting up with me all this time, and for their continual support, help and taxi service. On behalf of all the students here today, I would like to thank our distinguished guests for offering these awards, acknowledging the outstanding achievements, dedication and application of students across the state, and inspiring the students of today and tomorrow to achieve their full potential. I wish you all the best for the future. Thank you.
$220 very fine young Victorians who've won VCE awards, their mums and dads, parents and friends of the students that are here, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. What an enormous privilege it is to be here today and to see the fruits of 12 hard years of work at school epitomised and brought together in that beautiful speech a few moments ago.
What a wicked sense of humour you've got. He must be a real joy for your parents and for your family and all around you in school. And I think every time I go to a function like this, or I go to the schools, and you hear young men and women stand up and articulate a point of view in a very large audience such as today is, you do get a nice feeling in the chest that these are terrific kids. These are kids that are very, very well able to represent themselves and the broader community. I think today also says an enormous amount about the quality of education in this state. It says an enormous amount about the dedication and the commitment of the teachers within this state and the principals of the schools that care for the students. You know, a teacher is a little more than a mentor and a guide, I suspect, in that horrific spectre that Daniel referred to before, the VCE year. They are father or mother confessor. They have to guide and assist in terms of time management. I imagine that they do so many other things as part of that year. For those teachers and principals that are here today, we say thank you very much for the guidance and support that you've given to these youngsters throughout the year. I'm reminded also of the fact that although we are recognising today correctly 220 of the best, there were thousands of others who completed that school year. They all also had the challenges of that year. And to every one of them who attempted, who passed, who made their contribution during the course of that year, congratulations, well done. We wish for you all that we wish for the 220 that are here today. A very strong and healthy life, a quality life, a good opportunity to work and in the broader community. As the Premier indicated before, life is very much about balance. Daniel also drew that out in the remarks that he made. To all of you, congratulations, a tremendous job, well done. We wish great success for all.
Thank you, Minister, and other members of the official party. That concludes the ceremony, or this part of the ceremony. I'd like you all to remain seated briefly so that the official party, the top 10 students and the presenters can make their way to the marquee and be there to greet you at the relevant tables. So if you could briefly wait, I'll ask the official party, followed by the presenters and top 10 students, to move out now. Thank you.
Well done, Jonathan. Thank you. You're painting pictures like Mike Mann, are you?
I'm actually doing graphic design, so you'll go far, I'm sure.
Thank you. Great book.
Thanks.
Linda.
Thanks very much.
Congratulations. What a fine effort you put into it.
Thank you so much.
You'll enjoy that book.
Also from University High School, Noha Khalaf.
Noha, a fine effort indeed. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So you've got a busy year this year in front of you?
Oh yes, very busy.
Enjoy it.
Samantha Muscat. Congratulations, Samantha.
Oh,
Well
wait, hang
done.
on. I think you're getting your medal with your media award because we're a medal less.
Sure. Okay. So do I have to go down to my media place and get my award from there?
Oh, and here we are. Here's your media award.
Okay, thank you very much.
Two certificates. Two. Yeah, well done.
Let's take a photo.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
Almost gave the wrong certificate away there, you thought. Where's the photographer? Hello, mate.
Of course.
No worries. Hang on, I put it down. I've got polio in the right arm and it doesn't always work for me, see. So I need a strong base or I'm in trouble.
Very nice. Excellent. Now, who we got here, family or friends? Might be better up on the steps, I think. Would it be better up there? You think so? Yeah, I think so. Come over here, gentlemen. You're so much better. Come over here. Let's have a look at you guys. Anybody missing? A little note. That's it. If you've got those medallions, you can come in the front if you like. That's it. You're in now. Good fella. Okay. Any teachers here with you guys or what? Okay. This gentleman just come in just a little bit. No, you stay out there, man. That's good. That's fantastic.
Don't move after the shot because Sam Roberts has got to get in here somewhere.
One, two. Terrific. Thanks. This guys again. Hang on. Just come out.
Smile.
Just come out this way so I can see your wife. That's it. Come more closer. That's it. That's it. Just make out to know each other. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, and beautiful. Okay. Looking here. 1, 2. Once again, bit of a smile there. 1, 2. Last time.
Oh, I don't know why there's a
No comments? What about a hug come out?
I wish you never had.
Shake hands.
Do I get a kiss?
Good.
It's a great effort. Come on, you can give your brother a kiss.